wee out of my bum.
Hey, hi guys, my name's Juliette Burton and welcome to Happy Hour on Next Up's Twitch channel, YouTube channel, Facebook Live channel. I am so excited about this. This is the very first episode of Happy Hour and we're going to be doing this weekly throughout June. Now this was actually inspired by a new material night that I did in London a couple of years ago. And the whole ethos of it is that the acts have to be lovely to the audience and the audience have to be lovely to the acts. And that goes for tonight as well. I would really love it if you could let our acts know if you're loving them, which I know you will, because they are some of my favourite people in the entire world. Happy Hour is going to be roughly an hour. It might be a little bit longer because we might have a bit more fun than we're anticipating. Please do grab yourselves a drink. I've got myself just one drink here. And it's going to be so much fun. I'm so excited. It might be a little bit like all over the place possibly because it's the first one, but we're going to be doing this every single Tuesday throughout June. And the whole key with Happy Hour is my wonderful acts are not only going to be performing this different lineup every single week, they're also going to be telling you what their key to happiness during lockdown currently is. And at the end of tonight's gig, you guys get all the power. You have the power to vote for your favourite key to happiness. So you're not voting for the comedian necessarily, you're voting for their key to happiness, which one you think is actually going to be guaranteed to make you happy. And I'm going to join in with that as well, which is very exciting because I never normally did that at the live show. I mean, this is live as well, it's just can't actually hear you right now. So I'm going to introduce my act very briefly and then tell you a bit more about the show and a bit more about how my week has been. So we've got some amazing acts for you. We have got coming up the incredible Tien and Dueb.
Hello.
And we've also got the incredible Georgie Morell. And then at the end of the night, we've got the amazing Suze Kempner. Oh, it's so lovely to actually see people excited. So yeah, and then you've also got me hosting. My name's Juliette Burton. Please do also chat with us. We're all going to be on Twitch in the chat, so chatting away with you. So if you want to ask us questions or if you want to have a little chat and recommend to us, we want to hear what is making you happy during lockdown because we also need some top tips. And we're going to be throughout June collecting all this data, all of the suggestions of lockdown happiness. So use the hashtag #HappyLockdown on social media, and we're going to kind of have this wonderful pie chart or bar chart. I'm not sure what kind of chart exactly it's going to be, but it's going to be mathematically and comedically beautiful, and it's going to have all of that data. So by the end of June, we'll know all the things that will absolutely make us happy during lockdown. So either that'll be the end of lockdown or we'll have loads of things that will help us if lockdown lasts a little bit longer. So yeah, it's going to be so exciting. I'm so excited to bring this to you as well because I know there's lots of stuff going on in the world, but for this 1 hour we're going to we're not going to ignore all of that. We want to be aware of all of that, and actually there are donations that you can make, and there's something going on in the world at the moment that I'm not going to ignore. I'm going to say it straight away. There's a lot going on with the Black Lives Matter movement, and we have all agreed as comics that all the donations tonight are going to go to an amazing charity called Black Minds Matter. Now, Tiernan has already donated to the wonderful Minnesota Freedom Foundation. Freedom Fund, but they are no longer accepting donations because they've been overwhelmed with support. So we're going to donate our fees tonight to Black Minds Matter. So please donate away as you normally would to the Next Up channel, but that's where your money's going to go today. And we're also going to be mentioning other charities that you can support. We're going to be doing that in the Twitch chat later on as well. So yeah, let me tell you a little bit about myself. Maybe you don't know me, maybe some of you do. My name's Juliette, Juliette Burton. I'm your Happy Hour host, and I wanted to do Happy Hour because I have actually been diagnosed with clinical depression. So my mind tends to take me down a pathway that makes me a little bit more unhappy. And for me, comedy is a way of taking my mind down a happier route. I want to find reasons to be happy. So yeah, it's kind of like a way of finding light in the darkness for me. So yeah, when your mind can take you to dark places, it is vital to seek out the light. And that is why I'm also convinced that all moths also suffer from clinical depression. I've also been diagnosed with a few other mental health conditions, like I've been diagnosed with anorexia, anxiety disorder, bipolar disorder, body dysmorphic disorder, bulimia, compulsive overeating disorder, depression, and obsessive compulsive disorder. That's why this list is actually organised alphabetically. I have had some people cheer at the back of the room when I say obsessive compulsive disorder, and I'm like, wow, we've got fans of OCD in the room. OCD, OCD, OCD. Got to say it 3 times. And then I've also recently been diagnosed with separation anxiety disorder. So let's see if I let any of you leave at the end of this gig. And I've also been diagnosed with a complex post-traumatic stress disorder, because I'm the kind of girl who can take something that's already fairly complicated, like PTSD, and I can make it even more complex. I also have had experiences of psychotic hallucinations. So I was sectioned when I was 17. I was sectioned under the Mental Health Act and spent my 18th birthday sectioned under the Mental Health Act in hospital. My sister spent her 18th birthday drunk under a table in Wetherspoons, and I think I actually had the better venue. I also had a birthday card when I was in hospital, sectioned under the Mental Health Act, from my sister that said, "It's your birthday, let's go crazy." I am way ahead of you, sis. So yeah, this lockdown has been really weird for me. Also, I need to give full disclosure where I'm at right now. Some of you, if you know me, you might be following me on social media. I have been struggling recently a little bit, because not only lockdown, but I fell off my bike on Sunday, and I was an idiot, and I didn't wear a helmet, and I hit my head on a concrete pavement. So I actually fell on my cheek. So anyone who's really looking carefully, it is starting to swell up quite nicely. Now, I had to go to hospital yesterday, and it was all very interesting. I'll tell you much more about that later on. But it was nice to go to the normal hospital, not the psychiatric one, so that was good. But yeah, my leg is quite spectacular right now. So I might show that to you later on. So that's another reason, not only all the voting and all the comedy, you get to see a very weird leg. But I also have on an outfit that I kind of want to show you guys. So I treated myself during lockdown to this. This arrived. There we go. Look at that. Woohoo! Yeah, I got new boobs. No, I got bored of playing with the old ones, so I got the new one. Yeah, I also, I might be a little bit drowsy tonight, and not because I'm drunk, I will definitely be later on, but because I do have I've got concussion. But apparently it's okay to drink 48 hours after you get the concussion, so I've timed myself perfectly for this gig. I fell off my bike at exactly the right time to mean that I can start drinking during this gig, so yeah! So the other thing is about this injury to my face here is I'm finding it really hard to smile. So I might look like the world's most insincere host when I'm smiling, because I can't smile more than about there. Otherwise it just starts hurting. So that's what that's all about. Yes, now performing at home for you guys like this, for me and for my other fellow comedians, it is a bit weird. We need you guys to be on the chat, because we can't hear you laugh. I'm missing the sound of laughter more than I'm missing the sound of my friends' heartbeats, or the sound of my partner making me dinner. That would have been quite lovely. I do actually yeah, I'm not enjoying doing dinner every single night. Silent audiences, though, in this situation does not mean that they're not laughing. I know that they're just on mute, and I have used that excuse at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival before, and by God am I going to use it tonight. But we do want you guys to laugh in the chat. Let us know if you're enjoying it. And yeah, I also want to tell you a bit about my lockdown experience before we bring on our first lovely guest. So I am finding out a lot about myself during lockdown. I found out that my favourite things to do are perform to crowds of people in packed out theatres, going for drinks with those crowds in crowded pubs after the show, hugging my audiences, eating in restaurants, not cooking for myself, and touching my own face. These are the favourite things of mine to do. And I have been touching my face quite a lot during lockdown, mainly because I keep seeing idiots out not social distancing, and so I just end up face palming all the time. I'm trying very hard not to hit where I fell on my face the other day. So yeah, my friend also told me recently that I should be, if I didn't have a face mask, I should wear a thong. No, thong, I don't have a thong because thongs are not sexy. They're very, very painful, especially when worn on your face. So please don't do that. I also completed a video game during lockdown. Yeah, it's a video game. Yeah, it's called Netflix. It's a really great video game. I completed all of the levels. I completed the trending level and the recommended for you level. So now I've had to go on to a couple of other video games. I got myself these other ones called Amazon Prime and Disney Plus, and I've also started this new video game called The News. Don't really enjoy that one that much, but there are a lot of bad guys, so yeah, we need to sort them out. I also have been remote dating. It's been interesting. I've been remote dating. I've gone on a couple of very cool remote dates. I went to a virtual pub quiz with the guy that I'm dating. I also went for a wine tasting, by which I mean I drank wine and he chatted. And I also took him to a lap dancing club, which was a bit tricky until we realised we could just put our laptops on our laps. I'm also really missing hugs. I'm missing hugs so much, guys. I'm missing hugs so much. I've really wanted like really good, like tessellating puzzle piece kind of hugs. I really wanted those kinds of hugs the other night, like where you kind of jigsaws fitting together and you kind of really feel held and secure and just like, oh, the other person just completely gets you. So what I think I'm trying to say is I'm ready to get a dog. I think my therapist has also given me some really good advice that I'm going to try to share with you now to get through lockdown. Firstly, she has told me that I should be kind to myself, that I've got to show myself some self-love. So I quickly pulled up my trousers, realised that wasn't what she meant. And she's also said that when everything changes, change everything. So I changed therapists. She's also told me that if you get overwhelmed by your thoughts and feelings, write it all down in your notepad, which is why I always carry around notepads, pens, and I also need pants. If you want to get me pants, by the way, I like my pants like I like my men, big, clean, and mainly on that part of my body. But never ever riding up my arse. Top tip. So she's also recently told me to feel my feelings. Now, I don't really feel my feelings. How do I deal with my feelings? Well, I don't. That's why I became a comedian. But I do understand what she's trying to say, because denying your feelings isn't really good for your mental health, is it? If you want to cry, have a cry. If you feel like shit, have a shit, because that's how you're feeling. I mean, it was mental. I love that Suze is enjoying that so much. During last month, there was 1 week that was Mental Health Awareness Week. I'm sure that you are all aware. I mean, every week is Mental Health Awareness Week for me. You've got to be aware. Stay alert, guys. Mental health. There's always a theme during Mental Health Awareness Week, which I find really weird. It makes me feel like I'm going to an American high school prom or something. Like, yeah, Mental Health Week 2020 under the sea. Suze Kempner has told me that. And I actually would love to go to Mental Health Awareness Week under the sea, because maybe everyone would have to ask a crab how it was feeling, you know, but you have to ask twice, not because there was a campaign about how you have to ask people twice how they're feeling a couple of years ago, but because crabs don't understand English. So you might have to ask twice just to make sure they definitely understand. I mean, you could use crab sign language, but it's a bit samey, isn't it? I'd forgotten what last year's Mental Health Awareness Week theme was, and I thought, oh God, what if it was how to survive a global pandemic, but nobody paid any attention? But no, a lot of people are dismissing Mental Health Awareness Week as unimportant, and they're saying, oh, we've got bigger things to worry about. But surely dismissing mental health during this kind of time is kind of like dismissing the ability to swim as unimportant during a flood. Like, it is so important to talk about mental health right now. Oh, by the way, the 2019 Awareness Week theme, it was body image. Now, having been a size 4 and a size 20 due to anorexia and compulsive overeating disorder, and now being a size, who the fuck cares, nobody can see my body on Zoom calls anyway, I can tell you that there is a chance that the pandemic might have at least solved my body image issues. I mean, when I was sectioned under the Mental Health Act for anorexia, I had no idea that one day I would actually completely exist as a bodiless, floating, two-dimensional face on a screen. Hello. BDD, by the way, body dysmorphic disorder. That has got to be the bane of my life during all of this lockdown. I'm struggling with Zoom calls so much because I had no idea my favorite thing about meeting my friends and performing on stage was the fact that I didn't have to stare at my own face all the time. It's so frustrating. But yeah, I do know that the whole like mental health thing, like the mental health awareness thing, and the fact that this year the theme it was kindness. The theme was kindness in 2020, and it feels a bit trivial. I get that. I mean, it's all well and good, isn't it? But like, what's the good in talking about kindness when there's no funding for services that can actually save lives? I mean, maybe in the future, instead of funding mental health services, maybe we'll just be told to walk outside our houses on Wednesday evenings and clap in support. I don't know. But yeah, it's really frustrating, I understand, but I do know that kindness is important during lockdown. It is so vital. This will pass. That's another thing that my therapist has told me, is this too shall pass, like kidney stones, and possibly just as painfully. But my life has been thrown off course. All our lives have been thrown off course during lockdown. I get that, but it's okay. It will get better. It will. I mean, being hospitalized, sectioned, suicidal, ending an engagement to the guy I thought was the love of my life. All of those things happened, by the way, which is more traumatic? Well, one of them involved boxing up a very expensive, very beautiful wedding dress. So there's your real tragedy. But then again, also, if you're more worried about your dress than about the fiance, then you probably shouldn't have got married anyway. Kindness is so important during this time, and I've been thinking a lot about kindness because I did a whole show about it a couple of years ago, so I've been thinking about myself quite a lot. Self-involvement, that's another wonderful thing during lockdown, but you can watch it. It's called Butterfly Effect. It's on nextupcomedy.com /amazing Juliette. That is their Earl, not mine, but I'm fine with it. Yeah, I think kindness is so important because I don't want anyone to feel as alone as I've felt in the past with my mental health conditions. I want you all to not feel alone. I want you all to feel seen, and that is why I stare through your living room windows at night, officer. And it's very important to be kind to yourself, guys, as well as the people that you're in lockdown with. I've been trying to be kind to my flatmates, but it's scientifically proven that two people can survive 8 weeks in confined spaces together, and then beyond that, one of those two people will become intolerably annoying. I'm just really relieved to find out after this long in lockdown that I'm not the annoying one. I've been talking about my mental health and my comedy for so long that nowadays people think I'm some kind of expert, which is lovely, but that happens a lot. Like, people talk about something for long enough, then people think that they're an expert. Like my housemate, he's been going on and on about the housework for ages, which just makes me think that he's an expert, and I'll just let him get on with it. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about mental health during lockdown later on, but I am going to bring on our first act now because, oh my goodness, there's so much going on in the world and I am struggling to keep up with it all. So we are going to get the one and only, he's basically become like the face of Next Up Comedy. If you're watching Next Up Comedy online a lot, then he's like the host of so many things right now on there, and he's so wonderful. There's so much going on in the world, I need it explained to me in a way that I can understand. And since my language is comedy, it's a spoonful of sugar that helps the medicine go down. I am going to get my dose of politics and what the hell's going on in the world administered by the Mary Poppins of comedy. It is Tina Bread. Please welcome Tina.
Thank you very much. The Mary Poppins of comedy. That's amazing. What I like about that is, as a type 1 diabetic, I wouldn't be advising people to have a spoonful of sugar with their medicine. It'd be a terrible, terrible idea for me. Cool. Thanks. Yeah, it is lovely to be here. This is a very important show right now, having a happy hour, because it is hard to be positive right now. I mean, I found myself watching the SpaceX launch on Saturday, shouting at the astronauts, "Escape while you can!" And I also was wondering if they were flying 220 miles into the atmosphere just to check their eyesight. I am mainly coping at the moment by drinking an obscene amount of coffee. People say that coffee keeps you awake. It doesn't really do that for me. It just makes me need to shit unexpectedly, and then that keeps me awake, but out of fear. And I'm also having a lot of hot sauce just to check that I can still feel inside. And those are my coping mechanisms because I'm in lockdown with a 2-year-old toddler, which is a bit like living with the enemy. Like in the first week of lockdown, when we were stockpiling stuff, she went round taking a little bite out of every piece of fruit in the fruit bowl, so it all went off. And then she kept throwing all the loo down the loo roll and licking and touching everything in sight. It's like one of those films where the lead suddenly realizes that their compadre was a Nazi all along. And I'm fairly certain that I'm going to wake up tomorrow and she'll have put a beachfront in our living room. But so I'm just parenting all the time. By now in the evening, I'm usually sort of several beers in, staring at the microwave, wondering why there's no good TV on. But that's not the worst. I'm doing all right. I'm doing okay right now. And I sort of look at the world and go, you're not. Everyone has lost the plot. It's gone bonkers, all the way from the fact that on Monday, loads of IKEAs opened and there were thousands of visitors. People thought the first thing I want to do when I leave lockdown is have an argument with my partner, but in public. That is weird. More scary than that, though, is, the US and here. I mean, we currently feel like we're in a situation where the Middle East is going to have to intervene in our countries in order to instill democracy. The US is particularly scary this past week. We're in a funny situation where, we're facing the threat of a virus that doesn't discriminate. So America has felt like they had to step up yet again to fill that vacancy. And it's really mad that as a planet, our species should be uniting to fight a germ, but instead loads of people took the advice of using the lockdown to be creative, to find new ways to oppress minorities. And now the US is once again full of riot police who think it's an instruction, not a title. And people are telling African Americans that they're protesting all wrong, which, I mean, they're not. If your protest upsets the people that you're protesting against, that works. Otherwise, you're doing a love-in, although to be fair, in a pandemic, that might actually be more effective. The US is a country currently run by a despotic orange supremacist, a man who thinks that being anti-fascist is somehow fascist. And I'm very concerned about when he finds out about anti-pasto and antenatal clinics. But it says a lot that Donald Trump, who looks like a mistreated tuba, seemingly can't get the coronavirus because he's too toxic. His wealth, right? Donald Trump's wealth is because of slavery and racism. It's, run through his family. They've been massively racist. The US prison system thrives on the unfair oppression of black people. And it's a country where in some states you can actually buy the Confederate flag, a symbol of slavery and oppression, on a mug. I mean, why on earth would you want that on a mug other than to display your racism? How desperately do you want people to know how you like your coffee? People are saying that all lives matter in response to Black Lives Matter hashtag, which is just the most ignorant response I've ever heard. It's like storming into a toddler's birthday party and trashing their cake, shouting, actually, what about my birthday in 6 months' time? But fuck it, look, if you're one of the people that's doing hashtag all lives matter, I hope you have conviction of your statement and that you're going to be running into COVID-filled hospital wards, pushing doctors away from treating patients, shouting, actually, all lives matter, storming into strangers' funerals, shouting, all lives matter, why are you all crying more? I should point out that a couple of those jokes were from 2015, but nothing's changed. I'm still learning. I still haven't done enough in those years. I don't do enough in general. I don't have enough black friends. I don't really have any friends, though, to be fair. I've been doing social distancing since way before it was on trend. But in the UK, we're very complicit. We're complicit in racism. We've got a history of slavery. Most people in this country are only really against the coronavirus because it came from somewhere else. I mean, if it had originated in Britain, social media would be full of people saying you're only a patriot if you go around huffing people's coughs in a Wetherspoons. I mean, we're currently so anti-immigration in the UK that we haven't even got anyone to pick our fruit and veg, which is something you'd think Brits would love to do because we're cherry. We've got such an odd attitude to immigration, though. We keep telling people we're the best country in the world, but please don't come and have a look. That's odd, isn't it? Hey, we're the greatest country ever, best country in the world. Please don't come and check. It's a bit like saying, oh, my girlfriend's really hot. I'll show me a picture. No, she doesn't show up on film. We've been racist for so long. Our country has had for many years a hostile environment policy, which is something that we didn't even need because we already had the Daily Mail as the first newspaper you got when you landed at an airport. Welcome to Britain, now fuck off again. That was always our message. Under Theresa May, I don't know if you remember her, the former Prime Minister who was like a walking advert for Shark Week, she came up with the go home or face arrest vans, and they were white vans that they somehow managed to make more racist, unbelievable. And they put this slogan on them that said go home or face arrest, right? And that's arrest as in all one word. It wasn't like go home, have a nap, you've worked really hard. That would have been lovely. But instead they said go home or face arrest. And that was, apparently that wasn't the original wording. Theresa May made it that harsh, right? She wanted it to be harsh. I don't know what it said like in the beginning. I think it just said something like, where are you from? No, I mean, originally. And that was it. But we've had that system. Our Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, the man who looks like a porn version of the dog from Up. I mean, he's known for making comments about how, women in burqas look like letterboxes, which is not only massively racist. I also wonder why all the letterboxes he ever used have eyes behind them. I mean, doesn't that creep you out? Why has no one asked that? It's fucking really weird. We're in a funny situation. I mean, the coronavirus, I said it doesn't discriminate. The report today actually said it does, and it affects Black and Asian people twice as much. And so the virus does discriminate. And our health secretary, Matt Hancock, who looks like he definitely took a briefcase to school instead of a lunchbox, he said that the virus only exists to reproduce. So basically, that must be why Boris Johnson doesn't really want to tackle it, because it's his twin, isn't it? Basically his twin. I'm not surprised that nobody here knows what we're meant to be doing in this situation. Stay alert. What? We've got to poise like a meerkat until we see a virus galloping over the hill and we send the alarm to the community. It does sort of feel like our country's general plan to defeat the virus is just abject refusal to understand how germs work, and then hopefully it'll give up trying out of exhaustion. I sort of wonder if Boris Johnson's only real plan is to repopulate the country all by himself at the end of it. I think that's the only thing we've got. But that would be sensible, right? Because this pandemic is all about responsible parenting, isn't it? That's the message we've got across. And the Prime Minister knows exactly what responsible parenting is. Otherwise, how would he be able to avoid doing it so well? Boris Johnson said that his special advisor and Phil Collins, if he was withered by a curse, Dominic Cummings, that he's a responsible parent because he breached lockdown rules by driving all the way to Durham with COVID symptoms and then to Barnard Castle with his kid in the back just to test his eyesight. And I totally agree, right? In the same way, right, as a responsible parent, right, if I feel my diabetic blood sugars are dropping, then the first thing I do is strap my 2-year-old to the back of a moped and go racing around a busy shopping area to see if I'm okay. Just makes sense, doesn't it? It's clearly the obvious thing to do. It was really weird. I don't know if you saw, but quite a few Conservative MPs actually backed the idea of driving while being unable to see as a valid way to test your eyesight, which is just so surreal. But maybe that is how the elites see rules. And I suppose it definitely would explain every time Prince Philip had gone for a drive. But look, the Prime Minister said that it was all fine and responsible of Dominic Cummings, as the most important thing is that we, during this pandemic, have to take care of our children. Oh, and please send them back to school while the pandemic's still raging. I don't feel good about schools going back. I don't even have a kid that's at school. Private schools obviously haven't gone back till September, but the government video said we all have a part to play. And once again, with the arts, it's the privileged kids who get all the lead roles. But look, I'm desperate for someone to look after our daughter. I want her to go away for a day just so I can remember what it's like to miss her. But I'm not allowed. I'm not allowed. She's not allowed to see her grandparents unless they're paid child carers. That's the way everything works. It has to fit with the economy. You can see family, but only if you have a viewing for the house that they're selling. Pretty sure we're going to be able to see our friends properly soon, but only if it's on top of the shard snorting cocaine talking about stocks. To be fair, I should retract a bit. I do think the housing market should be open right now, but only because we all think that people who work at Foxton should die. But schools shouldn't be open. Kids' main source of protein is their own bogies and whatever they've licked on the floor. Kids are basically like free public transport for germs, right? My daughter, pre-pandemic, just from kicking around in a ball pool in a soft play, caught hand, foot and mouth. I don't even know what that is, but I'm pretty sure when it gets bad, it becomes head, shoulders, knees and toes. She got it. My wife got it. I didn't. Once again, failed to go viral. So, story of my life. I just sort of wonder if a lot of MPs have ever met a child. Like, I know the Prime Minister and sentient Portaloo Boris Johnson has, but he wouldn't know what one was unless you explained the thing he keeps leaving at people's houses after one-nighters, like, phone charges. It's sort of incredible, right? That his most recent child is called Wilfred, probably after the Bash Street Kids boy who pulled his jumper over his mouth, probably just due to a lack of PPE. But people are saying now he's got a new baby, it would change him. Let's be fair, it'd probably be that way round. It's unlikely he's ever going to change his baby. But saying that, he's skipping paternity leave till later in the year because he hates even attempting to be a responsible dad so much he'd actually prefer to turn up to work for once. The plus side of all the schools going back this week is that the class is about to be downside to 15 kids, which means after 10 years of austerity, they might finally have enough stationery for all the pupils. The attitude I'm finding very difficult with this pandemic is how everyone has to be a hero, right? Teachers have to go back to work to be heroes, and the NHS, they're all our heroes, right? They're going into battle, right? They're not just doing the jobs that we should be paying them properly to do, right? Every Thursday when we were doing the clap here, it was like a sort of people doing some sort of contest. People are letting off fireworks. See how many fireworks are going to let off for the NHS, which isn't going to help A&E if you burn your arm off in the middle of a pandemic. It's like saying I'm going to juggle chainsaws for the NHS. Hey, I'm going to swallow glass for the NHS. You can't defeat it through noise and extravagant, dangerous feats. That's not how it works. Otherwise, my daughter would have smashed this coronavirus years ago. Although I can't work out if the Conservatives were clapping for the NHS with praise or just sort of applauding their final performance. I sort of feel like there's something very celebrity, isn't there, about going, well done, you did it despite 10 years of cuts. Now do it again, but while eating kangaroos' testicles with tarantulas on your face. And there's this whole attitude that it's fine if heroes go to sacrifice. It's fine, nurses have died in the job. It's not what we want, but they've done it for the country. They're heroes that have gone for this mad task. That nothing's been prepared, but they've done it because they're heroes. And I wonder why the press didn't have that same sort of attitude towards suicide bombers. I just... I don't know where we are. We've apparently got 200,000 tests happening now, which, judging by the last time they counted them, they're including pregnancy tests in that, diabetic blood tests, probably eye tests at castles. I don't know how long this is going to go on for. And as I said, it's hard to be happy about it, but I'm trying to find positives. I'm trying to find positives about being in this lockdown. One of them is that this pandemic has finally got rid of my eco-anxiety. It's hard to be worried about the planet when I can't go outside. Knockdown Ginger is now the most dangerous and easy game that you can play all at once. And it's a really good time now to get rid of any toxic friendships, because if you meet them in the park, they have to be at least 2 meters away from you. And that way they can't twat you when you say how horrible they are. So that's a good plus. I'll leave you on a nice note, right? Because I haven't so far, but I'm big. Like, I tell you, I complain about having my daughter around, but actually it's kept me going. And I feel like there's a lot that you can learn from a toddler who's unaware of everything being weird, right? Because she just focuses on really special, important things, right? She just spends time enjoying life for being life, right? And that's lovely. And a couple of months ago, actually at the beginning of the pandemic, there was a moment where she found a crumb on her floor because we don't clean anymore. And she found this crumb and she spent ages just staring at this crumb, right? Just staring at this little crumb. And she was taking in all the light hitting off it and the textures, and she was turning it around and looking at it and wondering what it was. And I just thought, I wish, that's what I need to be doing. I need to be taking time over things and appreciating things for what they are. Like that crumb has had a journey. Of course you got to take it. And that crumb's amazing. It's made up of molecules. It's a shape that's been created by all these things happening in the universe. It's been made by ingredients that someone put together specifically to make something that we can eat through skills that they've learned through years and years of knowledge. And somehow this one bit has landed in this room. It's had a journey and she's taken it in and she's wondering everything there is to know about it. And there's loads. I just thought, that's beautiful. That's what I want to be able to take that time in my life. I don't have that time. I wake up in the morning, I have a shit, suddenly it's 6 p.m. But I want that time in my life. And I thought that's what I've got to learn. I've got to learn to do that, because right now, if I see some crumbs on the floor, I just think, some fuckers had biscuits without me. Anyway, you've been a delight. I hope that was happy. That wasn't a happy hour set at all, was it? It was mainly complaining, but stay safe. Remember to cough into your arms and fart into your knees.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Tiernan. Woo! Thank you so much for that, Tiernan. You've got quite a few people chatting away on Twitch. Rachel saying a bit worried about what knockdown Ginger might be.
Oh, goodness.
Claps and everybody. You got brilliant responses. So yeah, Tiernan, how have you been doing during lockdown? It sounds like your daughter has been getting you through, and that is a really important thing to remember, like people who get you through. Is there anyone else that's kind of getting you through lockdown?
Well, I'm in lockdown, my wife and my daughter, and they've both been brilliant. And I mean, it's funny, isn't it? Because I love having my daughter around, and she is keeping us sane, because she's sort of keeping us sane, but at the same time, like at the moment, she won't eat her dinner unless we give every item of food in her plate a little character and ask it like, please eat me, and that's fine. But then the other day she had a bowl of rice and we nearly lost it. We just it got about 30 grains in and we were like, I can't do this anymore, I've got nothing left. that sort of thing, you know, and she's insisting on only talking to me if I do like a Kermit voice or a Winnie the Pooh voice a lot of those. You start to lose yourself, but at the same time, you ignore the world. That's lovely. So both my wife and my daughter have helped very much. Yeah.
And you've been doing loads of stuff on Next Up Comedy, haven't you? Are you doing some more stuff? You did something earlier this evening.
I did. I hosted for the lovely Joe Sutherland, who showed his comedy special, and I did interviewed a Q&A with him. And we're going to do a comedy club for kids gig in a few weeks again on here. And I don't know, there'll be loads of stuff. I need to write some material that will last more than 2 days in the current news cycle. So that's what I need to do.
I feel your pain. So yeah, you also mentioned some upsides of lockdown. I'm going to come back later on. So I think I have thought of some upsides to lockdown.
Cool.
I'm gonna share them with people later on. So yeah, I am about to ask you to give us your Key to Happiness nomination. Remember, guys, if you're watching on Twitch, please tell us in the chat, or if on Facebook Live, or if you're watching on YouTube, in the chat, please tell us what your key to happiness during lockdown is. Tiernan, what is yours?
Well, I'm going to tell you, I should just very quickly say that Knockdown Ginger is a game where you ring someone's doorbell and run away. So I wasn't being unnecessarily aggressive to ginger people. That is what they call it at my school. I'm very sorry if you're worried. Other people have different names. My key to happiness, Juliette, is... I picked a weird one and I slightly regret it, but it is dystopian fiction.
Okay. I am very intrigued as to how you're going to defend that later on. But you're prepared to give us your pitch later on at the end of the show of why this should be voted for.
Yeah, I'll try my best.
I look forward to it. And what we're going to have a little dance now to kind of walk you off stage. So what song have you picked?
Well, this is I was quite sad. I never used to like Eurovision, and then I used to love it because I could be sarcastic on Twitter. And then this year, the Icelandic entry was genuinely brilliant, and my daughter loves it and calls it the "Wiggle Your Bum" song.
Oh,
and,
that's cute.
She dances to it, and she's learnt the moves, and she sings along all the time. And Hot Chip did a remix of it, and I've now taught my daughter the word remix, and she runs in going remix, and demands this song. And I love Hot Chip and I love the track anyway, so this has been making me happy.
Amazing. So we're going to play out Tiernan to him, everyone. Woo!
Yeah.
Oh, is the music playing? We're having a little issue. So I have little issues all the time.
Oh well.
Tiernan, I'm going to tell you a couple of my upsides to lockdown, if that's okay. Well,
is that...
when I'm going to tell you one upside to lockdown because now we're ready. One upside is that I haven't been catcalled for a really long time. So, hey, here's the music. Everyone tune in. Woo! Have a little boogie whilst you're watching that.
Oh, there you go. That's better.
Amazing. I love that. That was such a cool song. I'm going to add that to my Spotify playlist for June. Amazing. So yes, thank you so much, guys, if you're watching on Twitch, for recommending stuff that is getting you, making you happy during lockdown. So lots of people are recommending some great films as well. So yeah, go for it. Whatever's making you happy. People, places, food. I've gotten really into Serrano ham crisps because I am too middle class. But yeah, we're going to get the next lovely guest up. I friggin' love this woman. She is one of my best friends. I've told them, I'm just telling, I'm not going to big them up and say, oh, they've had 5-star reviews and won awards and stuff. I'm just going to tell you why I've invited them on. She's one of my absolute bestest friends, and she's got the sauciest, naughtiest mouth and mind that one could hope to ever find. We even stayed together in Edinburgh during the Fringe last year, and we've seen each other without wearing bras. We've hugged each other with no bras on, and that was one of the sexiest moments of my life. I think we were both crying because it was the Edinburgh Fringe, but you know, what the heck. She's heard me crying on the phone to her so many times during lockdown that I had to get her a gift, which I will ask about with her at the end of her set. But for now, please put your hands together, even if you're sitting at home and she can't hear you, but please do it for Georgie Morrell!
Hi guys, hi Juliette.
Hi Georgie, love you.
I love you more. I didn't deserve that, I really didn't, but you know, I am pretty sensational. It's gotta be said.
Take it away, my love. You've got your set time. Go for it.
Okay. I feel terrible because this has really cheered me up, and it's all to do with being happy, and that's great. But Juliette, I'm just angry. I'm just angry. I've had enough. Lockdown sucks. The pandemic sucks. The government sucks. Everything's shit. And so I'm just angry all the time. And I'm tired all of the time in lockdown. I don't know why. I don't do anything except like wank and cry into a gin. And it's too hot. It's too hot. We're not built for this. And I've got hay fever. I never normally get hay fever. But it's like God saw me struggling in lockdown and thought, oh, let's just rub some salt into bloody wounds and give her the sneezes. I'm drinking all of the time. I don't know when I'm sober and when I'm drunk. I'm not even sure right now. I tried Pilates, bloody hell. I think I'm in an abusive relationship with my online Pilates instructor because I'm still doing it. And every day she puts me in physical pain, but I keep going back for more. What's that about? My hair is ridiculous. It's getting so long. I could comb my hair and my pubes at the same time. I haven't had sex in like 10 weeks. I'm practically feral. I've been standing out on the balcony just shouting at men below, just like, get your dick out. And apparently that's not okay. I ordered a Five Guys the other day, like a Five Guys, and I was sort of secretly hoping Five Guys would show up. But no, it was just a burger. It was really nice. It was really good. I can see why they're so popular, to be fair. And I should probably keep my voice down. But my flatmate is pissing me off. Something chronic, right? 10 weeks of this shit. 10 weeks with you. Right, he's no fun at all, right? All my cool ideas, he just throws them back at me. It's so hot, right? I was like, let's get a paddling pool. And he was like, we haven't got a garden. And I was like, oh, we'll just put it in the lounge. And he's like, all right, I'll make the carpet wet. And it's like, oh, stop boring me with details and just get it done. And it's like, it'll be weird. We'll just be sat in a paddling pool in the lounge. I'm like, oh, you're weird. And he's like, oh, but I let you off like rent because you lost all your work and I just made you, do you want to have a beer on the balcony? I'm like, yeah, but can you actually buy me a kitten? Because I just want something fluffy to cuddle and control because I'm sad and lonely. And he's like, no, I'm allergic. Just ruining my life. And he's like, no, we can't have sex together. That'll just complicate things. What the hell, man? I don't need this. But the truth is, guys, we got off to a bad start. So pre-lockdown, a few days before it like really set in, he saw me naked for the first time. I was mortified. I mean, obviously he was thrilled. I mean, I made his fucking year, right? I was mortified though. I'll tell you how it happened, okay? So this is the living room. Outside of here, you've got my bedroom over there. I was in my bedroom. I was doing my makeup. I was getting ready for a gig. I was naked. Why, I hear you ask? Well, I just had a wank followed by a nap. I call it a wap. You can have that. And I was like, oh, I'll just chuck my makeup on. He wasn't in. And I was like, oh, God, I need a cup of tea if I want to do my makeup. So I scampered across the hallway. So here's my room, hallway across into the kitchen. Now the front door's here in between my room and the kitchen. Remember that. I'm in the kitchen making a tea. He only bloody comes back. By the way, this was by accident. I wasn't like just waiting for him to come home. Just like, there, you like that? There. I don't do that anymore. So I was in the kitchen making a tea. He came back and I was like, shit, he's going to see me naked. So I thought, I know, I'll hide behind the door. But the door's made of glass. So he saw everything, every inch of me. And people think it's weird that my flatmate's my dad. And he hates it when I call him that. It's just awkward, I guess. And I'm angry as well because we're all getting very like, oh yeah, like on the NHS, amazing. Isn't Captain Tom, whatever, cool for doing all of those laps? Yeah, and it's like, let's not forget though, sure, people have done nice things, but let's not forget the complete bellends from this lockdown. When we get out of this, we have to remember them and we have to hold them to account. So I've got this. I've done a little list for you guys. I've done a little list of the lockdown bellends. Starting with Amanda Holden. I mean, for so many reasons, I think she's always been on somebody's bellend list. You know what I mean? I'd love to join the queue of people wanting to punch her, but I assume it is very long. But I'm willing to wait. Oh, and if you're not too sure why, apart from that she's awful, she did a charity single. If you want to make your ears bleed, yeah, go listen to it. Oh, cyclists without bells. Cyclists without bells, right? God's sake, I haven't got eyes in the back of my head, okay? And I've actually only got one that works in the front, so piss off, all of you. Gail Gardeau, why did she do that video? And at least next time you do it, can you all choose to sing in the same fucking key? Well, she could have at least done it topless, then we really would have enjoyed it, do you know what I mean? And then the obvious bellends, Boris, Matt Hancock. Oh my God, he's totally that guy, isn't it? That like he would spaff as soon as you touched it. He's totally that guy. Dominic Raab. I swear his forehead gets bigger every time he lies, a bit like Pinocchio. Oh, my neighbor upstairs. He has got a guitar that he has been playing with a foot pedal throughout the whole of lockdown above my bedroom. And what's really, really insulting is he's not getting any better. He's still shit. The neighbor downstairs as well, they've got a kid. He never shuts his little face. Every morning he wakes me up like a rooster I never bloody wanted. The woman in Sainsbury's yesterday, she didn't understand the concept of personal space, let alone social distancing, so she can do one. Harry and Meghan, the Sussex Royals, they can do one because no one cares right now, Harry and Meghan. Stop talking about yourselves. You've totally misread the room. We are very much preoccupied right now. And then Gwyneth Paltrow, for all of the obvious reasons, but for banging on that we've all got to better ourselves in lockdown. Piss off. Why am I going to take advice from a woman who made a candle that smells of her vagina? And I'm a little bit bitter because she actually stole my idea. I came up with the vagina candle first. Granted, mine was just like a tin of tuna with the lid off and a birthday candle shoved into it, but it was the same thing. Double standards is what it is. Guys, that's me. I've been Georgie Morel. I'm going to hand you back to Juliette.
Amazing, everyone. It's Georgie Morel. Woo! Georgie, I think you've made a hashtag happen.
Jolly good.
Everyone's up for WAP now. Hashtag WAP, but WAP has to be in caps. Cap WAP. Yeah, in fact, I know some people who probably would WAP to Captain America, so which is one. You prefer Chris Hemsworth, though, of course, one of the Chris's from the Marvel universe. But Georgie, how are you doing?
I mean, I'm all right in lockdown. I'm getting on with it. I'm just, there's only. I mean, what is too much masturbating in a day?
I mean, I think that we should, I don't know, so we should try some experiments to find out.
When should one stop, really?
I'd say bleeding. Bleeding might be a thing.
Yeah, when you're starting a fire down there, maybe. But also, I think as well, what you're wanking over. So I've started like a wank bank for lockdown, because porn's fine, it's always there, but it's nice to get something a bit different. So a good one is the Backstreet Boys did like a lockdown version of I Want It That Way. Oh, it took me back. That was lovely. They have aged so well.
Thanks for that top tip. I'm going to try to stay on Twitch chat during Suze's set, but that is really tempting me now.
And if you're really stuck, and this is out, you can do this tomorrow, is PMQs, especially when Keir Starmer destroyed Dominic Raab. Oh, I just splooshed everywhere.
I don't think that's going to quite do it for me, but I think I might watch some old Barack Obama videos because bring back those good days. Georgie, what is your we've got our wonderful thing that we're going to do at the end, which is our key to happiness. So what is your key to happiness during lockdown? What's your thing?
It is, and it feeds into my set very well, and also Tin and your daughter would rock with this. It's basically annoying the people you live with for your own amusement.
Oh, damn.
Okay, interesting. We're going to have to come back to that later. So at the moment we've got dystopian fiction from Tiernan, right? And we've got annoying the people you live with. from Georgie. Okay, this is going to be quite cool later on. We're going to have this debate off and see who's going to win, and Suze is going to have hers there as well. I'm very excited. And Georgie, what's the song that we're going to listen to play you off stage?
This is a song called Crazy Bitch by Chuck Berry. It's filthy. It's filthy. And it's a song as a girl that you secretly wanted a rock band to write about you.
Very cool. Well, Georgie, get back on Twitch and make sure everybody can tell all of the social media following stuff where they can find out more about you on Twitch. And Tiernan, I forgot to ask you to do that. Please do that as well, and we'll wrap that up at the end. But for now, everyone, it's Georgie Morel. Carlos, can you play us out, please?
Place, and now you got to freak me out. Scream so loud, getting fucking laid. You want me to stay, but I got to make my way. Hey, you're crazy bitch, but you fuck so good I'm on top of it when I dream. I'm doing you all night, scratches all down my back to keep me right on. Hey, you're crazy bitch.
Nice choice. Wow, headbanging when you've been told you got concussion. Did not know that thing. Why is everything moving? Okay, wow, guys, don't need to do drugs during lockdown. Just knock your head on a pavement and then headbang. That's the way to do it. Amazing. So guys, if you're watching on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook Live, please donate. Our money tonight is going to Black Minds Matter, which is an amazing charity that the next wonderful comic found when I was going, what should we donate to? Yeah, please also follow everyone, Tiernan, Suze and Georgie on social media. You can follow me too, that would be lovely as well. I mean, right now I'm so desperate for human contact, you can just follow me down the street. I'm giving you permission to do that, but stay 2 meters away. And chat in the Twitch chat with us, please. Remember, if you're going to use the social media, like the social media, remember social media, Twitter, Facebook, all of that, Instagram, use the hashtag happy lockdown and tag all of us. Remember, tell us what's making you happy. We've had some lovely suggestions. I believe that somebody suggested some lollies, some very cool retro lollies, that it has to be the frozen kind specifically. So I mean, it is friggin' hot at the moment, so this is awesome. Anyone else, please tell us what's making you happy. Stick around for the votes at the end. And now we've got our final act. She is, oh, I friggin' love her. She has been my cocktail companion throughout lockdown, and not only my cocktail companion during lockdown, but my moral compass and the best advice giver ever. I knew I loved her before lockdown began, and then she and I had some phenomenal sessions, and I mean proper sessions. Her in her garden and me just hunched up next to my bins outside, pretending that I've got a garden. And when all of this kicks off, she sent me a cocktail recipe book, and I've sent her something that I'll ask about her in a second. I didn't ask Georgie about the present that I gave her, so I'll come back to that. She also is killing it on Twitch, streaming left, right and centre just pretty much every single day, and raised huge amounts of money. She raised over £1,000 for shelter with a marathon streaming session the other week, which thanks to Georgie I now think of as an innuendo, a marathon streaming session. But, she is so phenomenal. The woman who produced her not only supports her but also comes to my shows now. Her mum also started to join in with our drinking sessions as well. She's an absolute queen. Her mother is too, but please welcome to the virtual stage, it's the incredible Suze Kempner.
Hello! Thank you so much, Jules. That's the nicest welcome I've ever had. Normally it's just some guy on a stage who goes, who have we got? Susie Kempster. And it's like, Suze Kempner, it's not that hard to read. Hi, welcome to my living room. When lockdown first started, I did think doing a gig over a camera to essentially nobody, I know you're watching, but there's no one in here, would seem ridiculous. But I love it now because I can put on makeup that is nice. I can put on a Diamante choker and a nice jacket, and then just wear no shoes and pajama trousers. It's great. Like it was a little chillier about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I was doing Zoom chats like this, but with a Zoom gigs, you know, fully dressed from the waist up and then just blanket over legs like an old war captain or something. And what's really nice about lockdown is it's given a lot of fame to my mum's We Three Kings painting, which she didn't paint, but she bought it in Wilko's about 1996. And it's become a real topic of conversation across Twitch. That is 3 racehorses. That's Desert Orchid, Red Rum and Arkle. And now they get to live on via online comedy gigs. I haven't done a gig wearing shoes since the end of March. It's great. I'm going to continue with it like Kate Bush. Also, like, I've been doing Zoom chats to people all around the world that I wouldn't normally do. I've got a friend in Australia and we just talk on Zoom at 8 a.m. my time, which is sort of mid-afternoon to early evening his time, which, long story short, does mean I have had Negronis at 8 a.m. No regrets. No regrets. Several Negronis, no regrets. The music I listen to has had to change a little bit as well, because I love Celine Dion, but her biggest hits feel a little on the nose now. And she's like, when I was young, never needed anyone. Making love was just for fun. I'm like, yeah. And then she goes, those days are gone. I'm like, fuck, she's right. shit, it's government mandated. She's right. All right, Celine, I'll turn you off now. I know, I'll listen to Judy Garland. And Judy Garland's, my favourite Judy Garland song goes, I'll go my way by myself. I'm like, well, I've had enough out of you as well, love, thanks. That's all I've had out of you. I've gone back in time a little bit under lockdown. I thought I'd go and play my old Mega Drive games. And I loved my Sega Mega Drive when I was growing up. And I wanted to find how these games that I loved so much as a kid, how they measured up now. Because when you watch films or TV or listen to music or play games as a kid, as an adult, they can look completely different. So I thought, I'm going to go through my Sega Mega Drive games and find which one has aged the worst. And the Sega Mega Drive game that has definitely aged the worst is Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. Now, Michael Jackson's Moonwalker is a game that Michael Jackson brought out on the Sega Mega Drive in 1989, before we knew. And the storyline of it is he's going around different levels, kicking open doors, and then there's children behind some of the doors and he's saving them, and they go, Michael, that's real. Like, people don't believe me, but it's no comedy, just facts. It's the only time in history a video game has doubled as a confession. Do you remember when O.J. Simpson, he brought out a book called If I Did It? And it was like, I didn't kill those people, but if I did. And then it's like Michael Jackson's done the If I Did It of video games. My favorite video game character of all time is actually Knuckles. He's from the Sonic series. I really like Knuckles. He's an echidna, clearly, right? Knuckles, he doesn't really work on his own, though. He works best with other characters. Right? He's very much not a solo act. He only ever had one game all of his own. It was called Knuckles Chaotix on the Sega 32X. And the Sega 32X was a console that came between the Mega Drive, the end of its lifespan, and the launch of the Saturn. And I don't want to be talking about the 32X, but if you had one, that means you vote Lib Dem. Anyway, Knuckles doesn't really work on his own. He works best with other characters. We all remember his very first outing in 1930 in Steamboat Knuckles, which really revolutionized animation. But he didn't really come into his own until the 80s when he teamed up with Tom Hanks and a dog for Turner and Hooch and Knuckles. Yeah, very, very popular film. And that's when he really hit his stride. He had a very diverse career. He, of course, showed his sassy side in Sex and the City and Knuckles. Yeah, like, you will remember it. Hey, Knuckles, who you been fucking? I don't want to talk about it, Samantha. Their like conflict really made the series pop. And of course, he had a brief foray into art house cinema in The Cook, the Thief, His Wife and Her Lover and Knuckles, where he daringly went full frontal. Helen Mirren did say he's the most brooding actor she'd ever worked with. Now, listen, guys, I have been really enjoying Sonic so much that I've decided I'm going to complete the set with this as my background. No, I'll go back to the Three Kings and a Wall. I think that what's going on at the moment in America is something we've never seen before, and I don't want to elevate my voice because I've got nothing to say that hasn't been said already, but please donate to this stream because the proceeds are going to Black Minds Matter UK, which is providing counselling from Black counsellors to for free to Black people who cannot access counselling. And like, I know a lot of us have been finding lockdown hard. Can you imagine watching the news and not being white, how that must feel? So yeah, please give generously, and thank you very much indeed.
Suze Kemner, Suze, you're getting so much love on Twitch.
Oh, bless them.
Loved you.
Thanks, guys.
We all love you. And yeah, thank you so much. I mean, thank you for doing this night, but also thank you just for like we've been messaging each other like pretty much every day. And
Yes.
I'm so grateful.
I'm so grateful. Thank goodness for technology, isn't it?
Yeah, like I think it's, yeah, I think I can't imagine a time that, like, if we hadn't been able to have had this much communication, ways to communicate, like, but yeah, there's also people, like the specific people, like Georgie's another one for me that I'm sorry, Tin, and I haven't messaged you half as much as the others, but they, we can talk about boobs and stuff without it getting weird. Yeah, I thank you so much. How are you getting through lockdown, Suze? Like, not your key to happiness, but are there certain people or are there things that are helping you get through it?
People, obviously. Thank you. Thank you as well.
The biggest fishing.
So, what's been getting you through? Maybe. Does it begin with J?
To be fair, I'm desperate for the validation because I haven't heard the audience laugh for so long, so but yeah, apart from me.
Oh no, I consider myself really lucky. I've got a roof over my head. No one's going to throw me out of this house. I've got a little bit of garden back there, which Juliette frequently is like, "You're in your garden again." Of course I am. Also, I've found that I'm making a lot of videos and stuff under lockdown, and I'm quite enjoying it. So, you know, I'd never say like, "Oh, it's brilliant. I hope it goes on forever." But I can see an end to it. I know there'll be an end to it. So I haven't found it too debilitating. However, I'm slightly worried about the world today. But hey, I think we all are, aren't we?
I think we are, and yeah, I think that it's been a very weird few months, but today has been one of those like pinnacles of wow, when you didn't think it could get any weirder, and yeah, it's hard to know how to respond. However, I think that being able to be aware and not ignore, because ignoring something doesn't make it go away, but being able to make sure that we are aware and show solidarity and put action in. So yeah, are there any other charities or petitions that you'd recommend people do?
I donated to the Louisville Bail Fund because the Minnesota Freedom Fund, which basically pays bail for protesters who get arrested, they said, "We've been so inundated with donations, please send to other bail funds." So I donated to Louisville. There's hundreds of them, obviously, for every city and town in America. So yeah, the resources, it wouldn't let me post links in the Twitch chat, but on Twitter, there are so many threads going around, which is just link after link. So if you've got a couple of quid to spare, just send it on through. And yeah, I hope social media starts dealing with the old fascism. It certainly dealt with me. At the end of April, I'd been live streaming on Facebook quite a lot, and I posted at the end of April, basically, I'll make it my background. Basically, in India, there's an ice cream brand called Hitler Ice Cream.
No.
And I posted it on Facebook and I said, I wish I had a cool, refreshing Hitler ice cream right now and got a 30-day ban from live streaming. So I was like, well, at least Facebook's dealing with the fascists. It's unfortunately the Jewish comedian fascists.
Phenomenal. I'm so sorry you got banned, but I'm also I'm so pleased that they are dealing with that they're kind of fascist.
Yes, yeah, they're not quite getting it right, but yeah, hey, look, nothing is ever permanent, and through this, I hope that imagine if in a year's time we go, fucking hell, do you remember that revolution?
Yeah.
Everything's much nicer now. So yeah.
It's always darkest before the dawn is another lovely therapy phrase. I need so hard therapy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I keep telling myself it's not going to get any worse. It isn't getting worse because we're here. We've got a plan. We're going to save the world.
Yes, definitely.
By making people laugh. Suze, before I stop, get on a soapbox. I'm going to ask you and Georgie about your gifts in a second.
Oh yeah.
I'm asking you now. What can you tell the world? Because I'm just like, I really wish I got it myself. I want to play with it.
Oh, it's so good. It's up in my room. Juliette very wonderfully sent me this poster, which is 100 different cocktails you can try, but they're scratch off, like a scratch card. You scratch them off as you try each one. So I'm gonna set a night aside and do all 100. I can't wait. They look amazing.
I hope that I can do that with you.
Please.
And then next up can stream it, and then we can.
We just saw two women just pass out on a couch. It was.
I mean, I'm up for that. I'm not gonna lie.
At one point, one of them was just talking to the poster.
Georgie, I think you might have a couple of things that we might be able to use when we pass out from drinking too much.
Juliette sent me today, I haven't got them on me, but a eye mask for wear at night that says "fuck off," and some shortbreads called Dunkin' Dicks, and they're little willies shaped shortbread that you dip in your tea.
That's beautiful.
Fuck the patriarchy.
Amazing. Tiernan, I'm going to have to get you a gift now. So I just
to be honest, if you do the live streaming of you and Suze drinking 100 cocktails, that will be a gift to us all.
Okay.
Consider it done.
This is another marathon session that we're going to have to do. Let's pick a charity. Okay, so Suze, what is your key to happiness?
My key to happiness, I think the clue was in my set, is definitely Sonic. he's letting me recapture my childhood as I play through old Sonic games. So
awesome.
Thanks, mate.
And what song are we going to dance out to you? Dance out to you? What song are we going to dance you out to? I don't know what I'm saying.
This has been my song for lockdown. This is Cloud Busting by Kate Bush.
Amazing, ladies and gentlemen. That was Suze Kemp now. Woo!
Thanks, guys.
I wake up crying. You're making rain, and you're just in reach. When you in sleep escape me, you're like my yo-yo that glowed in the dark. What made it special made it dangerous, so I bury it.
Just getting a bit into it. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Suze. That's great. We should get I think over the whole series, I should get like a whole Spotify playlist going, and we've got all of the happiest songs for people to listen to. Maybe we can do that with Next Up somehow. Awesome. So, right, lovely viewers, this is your time to shine. We are going to do this very exciting thing with Next Up. This has not been done before, so we don't know if it's going to work exactly or not. But let's find out together, shall we? So we've had the lovely nominations so far from Tiernan, Georgie and Suze, and I've got my nomination, of which I'm going to tell you the headline, which is it's Finding Kindness Everywhere, or The Kindness of Strangers, that kind of vibe, which is a bit more serious, but I've got some reasons behind it. So we're going to come back to each of our guests, and they're each going to give us their pitch. So this is where you guys, audience, you need to listen in to what these wonderful people are going to tell you, why you should vote for them and their key to happiness. And then you guys get to pick which person is the winner and which you think is the guaranteed thing that will make you happy, make all of us happy during lockdown. And as I say, over the series, over throughout June, every week we're going to collect all of the data, and we'll have this wonderful chart that will show all the things. Like if we've crammed all of these things into our lives, then maybe we could have the happiest life ever, or the happiest last few weeks of lockdown. I've also been really loving your suggestions. We've had some great ones, like Talis the Bomb King said good movie recommendations are a must in lockdown, and then you guys just all went to town on like recommending good movies to each other, which was awesome. I won't read all of them out, but there's some brilliant ones. And I also love the fact that someone mentioned Mary Poppins in there, because it made me think that if I just want Mary Poppins to be recast with Tiernan as Mary Poppins in it now. We've also had some wonderful people suggesting great music during lockdown, like Ali Raza Akhtar said Simon and Garfunkel, US Bridge Over Troubled Water helps my mum get through a lot of stuff in life. It is a great song. I'll come back to some other things that you guys have recommended later on, but now we are going to come back to our lovely guests. So we are going to start with Tiernan. Tiernan, could you please remind us what your key to happiness was, and could you please explain in 1 to 2 minutes why people should vote for your key to happiness?
Oh no, this isn't as good as kindness. Dystopian fiction has kept me going through this. I've been watching a lot of it, a lot of dystopian stuff, a lot of stuff where reality is slightly altered, and that's partly, I think, because it's really nice watching something where, you know, a situation where things are even worse than they are here. So, for example, I've been watching the Snowpiercer series, and the movie is amazing as well. But in the Snowpiercer series, right, it really puts lockdown into perspective, because a whole load of people are stuck in the tail end of a train having a really terrible time. And I'm not there. I'm just in my flat. That is not as bad. Westworld, robots are killing people. They're not killing me. I'm all right. The Leftovers, 2% of the Earth's population has disappeared. They haven't disappeared. I mean, they're dying. It's not as good. But, you know, it's different, isn't it? And I suppose it could be a positive depending on which 2% disappeared. But basically, you know, dystopian fiction gives you a chance to see how things could be worse. Also, I think a lot of the time it gives you a glimpse at how humanity can still prevail in horrific situations. So a book that I read spookily just before pandemic kicked off was Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel, which is about a pandemic sweeping across the world. What timing that was. But it's beautiful because the people that survive, she used to travel across the country kind of delivering Shakespeare to people, and it's all about how they kind of regain their humanity. There is also a guy that believes he's God and oppresses a lot of people, but there's always one of them. Everyone went to school with one of them. But generally, you sort of read it and go, this is how we get through these things. Humanity shines through. And I think that's a really good reason to kind of indulge in it. Or alternatively, you could watch it and go, maybe all this will end with robots taking over, plugging us into the Matrix, and we won't have a clue how shit things are. So it won't really matter. You know, it's positive, isn't it? It's really positive. So yeah, vote for that. I forgot to show you my t-shirt, by the way.
Yeah, I saw it earlier. It's awesome. Yeah, I love it. So guys, how you vote for, if you think Tiernan's key to happiness dystopian fiction, you need to type I believe it's !vote 1. So you need to type !vote 1. So !vote and then the number. Okay, so Tiernan is 1. So if you think Tiernan dystopian fiction is the key to happiness, then vote 1. But ! to make sure it's an actual vote, then the word vote, and then the number 1. Okay, this is very exciting. So if you want Georgie to win, then it's exclamation mark vote 2. Suze is exclamation mark vote 3, and me is exclamation mark vote 4. Georgie, to remind you, her key to happiness was to annoy the people you're in lockdown with. So Georgie, could you please explain why should people vote for yours?
It's exactly as it sounds, really, Jules. I think that you can get the most pleasure out of life by irritating other people. I grew up with older brothers as well, so I learned from the best. I mean, my brother Sam, he used to hang my teddy bear Scruffy and leave suicide notes. So that's the sort of level I'm at with him. I mean, and he'd still do it now if he could. I saw him before lockdown, actually. His pranks aren't as good. He just sneezed on me. He's nearly 40. And it's things like, so if your housemate or flatmate is your husband, your partner, wife, whatever, all the better. And if they've got a serious job, then it's moi. Then you're gonna have so much fun. Just little things like I decided one morning, I told my flatmate that they found the vaccine and everything was fine. Did he believe me for a minute? That was fun. I like to try and prank him when he's on his work calls for his proper job and try and make it look like he's breaking lockdown rules, like pretend to be the cleaner in the background. Just shit like that. Just japes, mate. Just japes. When he asks what day it is, tell him something different. Move things around the flat, but tell him that nothing's different, so he thinks that he's losing his shit. That's a good one. Loosen the seat on his bike before he goes out for a ride. You know, just fun stuff like that. Just cute things.
Amazing. Wonderful. I mean, I'm slightly worried for the safety of your flatmate now, but that's very good. So if you think that Georgie should win with her key to happiness, which is annoying the people you're in lockdown with, you type exclamation mark vote and then the number 2. And Georgie, they can vote for 2 or 2, whichever one you fancy. So coming on to Suze now. Suze, your key to happiness was 90s video game, Sonic specifically, right? So could you please explain to us why that is the key to happiness?
Well, Sonic has the storyline where he is a hedgehog who can run real fast. He's an environmentalist. He's very into freedom. He's sort of the original socialist. He's probably a little bit smug about it, but in a way that is backed up by his good deeds, because he is constantly fighting against the capitalist industrial pig dog that is Dr. Robotnik, who just wants everything to be robots and for there to be no green spaces. I don't know why I relate to this so hard. It's a modern parable for our times. Sonic is my choice for key to happiness.
Amazing. So the key to happiness, and it's specifically during lockdown as well. You can totally play video games during lockdown. This is great. So if you think Suze has the key to happiness, which is Sonic specifically as a video game, type exclamation point vote and then the number 3. For a second I forgot how to count. So 100 cocktails, that's how many. Okay, so if you want Tiernan to win, remember it's exclamation point vote 1, Georgie's exclamation point 2, and Suze's exclamation point vote 3, and me, I am exclamation point vote 4, and my key to happiness is and yeah, I think they're all wonderful suggestions we've already had, but for me it is, yeah, it's the kindness of strangers or finding kindness everywhere. So yeah, as I mentioned earlier, I fell off my bike on Sunday, and I honestly had forgotten how many amazing people are out there, because I also hadn't realized I needed it not literally knocked into my thick skull, because there were of course people like the amazing NHS staff on NHS 111 and the ambulance people and the staff at St Thomas's who saw me, and of course like specific people, like there was a woman called Colleen at the urgent care centre who was lovely, and there was a really handsome radiologist who remembered me at lunchtime and asked how my face was. How was your face? And there was a girl called Emily who chatted to me when I was having my CT scan, and she was just indulging me and talking about absolute nonsense. And some people have said, yeah, but that's their jobs, isn't it? Like, it's their jobs to do that. Like, they're getting paid to do that. I'm like, they don't have to be lovely during it. They could be dicks during it, but they weren't. But then on top of that, there were these other people who were phenomenal, like the amazing, there's a girl called Aisha, who she stayed with me as soon as it happened, and she insisted on staying with me. She went to Starbucks to get like water and stuff, and for me, and she didn't just like, oh, I'll see you later. She was amazing. She looked out for the ambulance and everything, and then there was a girl called Chantel who picked up my sunglasses, called the ambulance, and then she walked home and then walked all the way back again when she realized she still had my sunglasses, which I'm really grateful because they were prescription. There was a newsagent guy called Richie who gave free paracetamol, free ibuprofen, and free ice, and when I was like, can we pay? He was like, no, insisted, no payment. There was an amazing friend who came to pick me up. There were wonderful friends who are messaging me, asking how I was getting on. Most importantly, got to say, there was a guy called Dr. Manish Soni who might be watching tonight if he's not on call, because I told him about this gig. Living in a flat overlooking where I fell, and Dr. Manish ran down, and he was fully PPE'd up, right? And he gave me paracetamol, ibuprofen, alcohol wipes, and he cleaned all my wounds, ice pack, everything. And he stayed with me. He insisted on staying with me until the shock wore off. And he explained all the symptoms of concussion to me and to my friend who came to take me home. And when I was like, I kept apologizing, saying, I'm so sorry, making a fuss over nothing. This is so silly. I'm so sorry. And he kept saying, listen, without you, I'd be out of a job. And when I was like, look, I've got some homemade biscuits, like I know where, like now that I know where you live, I can bring you some homemade biscuits. And he was like, no, all I ask is that you pass on a kind act to somebody else. And he asked me what I did for a living, and I said I'm a comedian, and I was really worried about this kind of getting all blue and stuff before tonight. And he was like, I will be there. If I'm not on call, I will watch this, and honestly, this is what I do for a job. You do a job that makes people happy, and we're all doing our bit during this time. So please just make sure that you take care of yourself so you can do what you're doing during this time. And I'm tearing up telling you about it. But there's also another lovely lady who I will forever remember, because she was the one saying when I was lying on the floor, please could somebody cover up her modesty? And I'm very glad she was there, because I did have my skirt right up and everyone could see my pants. And all I was thinking was, I wasn't thinking, fuck, this really hurts. I kept thinking, oh, thank fuck I wore the really big, colourful pants today, because everyone is staring at them. I haven't yet told my parents about what happened, because not because I don't want them to worry, but just because I know that they would have told me off for not getting Dr. Manish's phone number. Yes, I think finding kindness everywhere, the kindness of strangers, is my key to happiness. I'm very happy right now. Although you guys have made me very happy, and kindness can come in donation form as well. Please be kind and donate away. As we told you, the donations are going to charity tonight, and our acts have been brilliant. Please be kind to them by following them on social media. If you think that my key to happiness should win, ! Vote for. So ! Vote 1 for Tiernan, vote 2 for Georgie, vote 3 for Suze, and vote 4 for me. Whilst we're totting this up, I'm going to tell my... Oh, we're going to open the poll. Open the poll. Oh God, I feel like a politician. Open the poll. Ugh, I feel dirty. So we're opening the poll now, guys. So we're going to be tossing it up. This is exciting. And whilst we're doing this as well, feel free to carry on telling us your key to happinesses. Suze, Georgie, Tiernan, shall I, whilst we're waiting for the votes to come in, shall I tell you more of some of our audience's key to happinesses?
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah,
I did promise to show you my leg. At some
I want to see.
Shall we do? I just want to flash you. So yeah, other people have said, we've got most but not all said, I got some drumstick squashy lollies, which despite being complete junk, cheered me up momentarily. And I thought she meant, or they meant, drumstick lollies. And she said, the frozen ones though, not the original sweets. They're great as well though. I don't know why I'm making them a she. They are a they. And then Ali has also said, I enjoy drinking cool Dr. Pepper to relax, which I enjoy drinking a cool I enjoy drinking a cool Lucozade Zero that I have.
The sun is rolling.
And there was somebody else saying, oh, most but not all again, in lockdown, I've discovered that salted caramel Twix and Malteser biscuits are a waste of time and money.
Fair enough.
Sad days. That's awful.
But thank you so much for everybody for saying all of that. The votes are still coming in. Look at all of these votes. People are voting for more than once, which is great. Sorry, we were getting a little update on the vote. Can I get that update again, please? Only the last vote, guys. If you're trying to vote for more than one, only your last vote is going to count. God, this is a proper democracy, isn't it? Like,
so alien.
This is so like weirdly fair. How strange. So have we got? Can I get the updates, please? I don't know why I'm doing that. It's just because I feel like I need to look professional. Can I please get the updates for how long it's going to take us to tot it up? Because I might do my little sexy leg. 1 more minute. In 1 minute. You guys want to see my legs?
Show the leg.
Yeah,
the leg.
Okay, cool. So
leg hype.
Also, I was feeling so sad today. I felt this glitter was not enough. So we've got this t-shirt, and then we've got we've got this going on.
Beautiful.
Right, we've got that. So now we've got. Hang on, I don't know if you can see this. Right, so this is the leg. This is the leg. That got
oh my goodness.
all of that going on. We've got this going on.
Oh my God.
Bruiseroo.
No, but do you see? There's that. That is not a bruise, because the other leg felt so left out that today, whilst I was having my therapy session, I sat outside, and that is sunburn. I'm such an idiot. So what I've done is I'd crossed my legs like that outside because I didn't want to. This was too painful. Does that make sense? Basically, what happened is I've now I can't go running. Oh, what a shame. Running. No, I can't. Running's been getting me through quite a lot. Yeah, so I feel like a prime numpty. I've never said that phrase in my life. I just feel like a prime numpty because both legs. I'm trying to work my way through all the colours of the rainbow on my legs somehow. So yeah, it's the weirdest thing I think I've ever done is show off my legs. Also, Suze, Georgie, Tin, and I've got to say, this pain, when I warned about earlier, there was a point, I think it was early on in Tin and Set, where I was just like, nah, this pain is worth it. Like, I can't not laugh. Like, you guys have been making me smile so much, and it's just, you forget about the pain, because actually, yeah, you guys are just awesome. Thank you so much. It might be how funny you are, or it might be how drunk I am.
Probably a bit of both.
Either way, I'm taking it. It's fine. We've got Carlos, who's helping us with the poll, and actually, Carlos is just being a legend and making all of this work. Carlos, how are we doing with the poll? Almost there. He's showing us his t-shirt now.
We've had 2 late votes on there.
Brilliant. So we're nearly there. Oh, look at! I love now. Everyone's getting involved now. Yeah, a round of applause for Carlos, please. That's awesome. Woo! We're going to do a countdown. From 10 to 0. I'm going to have to close the poll. I'm never this excited about voting. Because this is the one where I'm like, whoever wins, they're a nice person. This is going to be fine. Okay, so I'm going to count down in 10 seconds. So, and then we're closing the polls. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the polls are now closed. Guys, I'm starting to think that this might be a really good idea for us to form the new government.
Definitely, yeah. Especially that their new voting system today involved them all queuing for hours, and we've done this in minutes. So
yeah.
I mean,
plan to have world domination anyway, so
we've got everything we need. We've got we've got shared values.
Sex appeal.
Sex appeal. Yeah, we've got distraction techniques. Also good hearts. Right, guys, we've closed the polls. We've got the results in already. We didn't have to wait for people to count things out of boxes.
Oh, who's first is Sunderland. Sunderland have got the first count.
Okay, so we've got it all ready, Carlos. We've got them all ready. I'm so excited. Showing them now. Georgie's won!
Hey.
Well done. Well done.
Georgie, well done, Georgie.
Oh, I'd like to thank my flatmate, my mum, myself mainly. I'd like to thank me. It's all thanks to me.
Congratulations, Georgie. I'm so glad that you won. You have won happiness.
Oh, really? There's no physical gift, I see.
Dude, I not only sent you that eye mask, I also sent you penis-shaped biscuits. So
Sure, that's fine, I guess. I mean, whatever.
Something to suck on later. Yeah, well done, guys. You are all winners, really. All of you. I mean, I know that sounds trite, but genuinely, you've made me so happy tonight. You've made me happy. Therefore, you're winners. Well done, you, for making me happy. Yeah, well done, gang. Thank you so much. I'm going to ask you all to plug yourselves one more. I say one more time. I forgot to earlier. So, Tiernan, could you kick us off? Where can everyone find you on all the socials?
You have to be able to spell my name, which is a challenge within itself. But if you throw a lot of vowels into Google, you might get lucky. And I'm just Tiernan Diab on Twitter. I'm endlessly on Twitter. And check out my Partly Political Broadcast podcast, which I churn out every week like an idiot about all the politics and stuff, but comedy and that.
Amazing, awesome. And Georgie, where can we find you?
Oh, where can't you? I am at the G Morel on all social medias. My show is going to be my 2016 Edinburgh show Icon will be on Next Up soon. I don't know when, but soon, so watch out for that. And you can hear me every week on RNIB Connect Radio, chatting just solid gold shit.
Lovely. And Suze, in case nobody knows, I mean, you're everywhere all the time.
Always hanging about. I'm on twitch.tv/Suze Kempner, all one word, and you can find me on Twitter at Suze UK, SOOZ UK. And please donate, because all the funds go to Black Minds Matter UK. It's a very important cause.
And thank you so much, Suze, for recommending that particular charity, because there are so many out there that do need your help. And yeah, we will. I will be sharing some more details on my Twitter after this about other places that you can donate. So I'm at Juliette Burton with 2 G's and an E on Twitter and Facebook. I'm on Juliette Burton Writer Performer. Instagram, I'm at Juliette_Burton, and you can just find me on my website, julietteburton.co.uk. So guys, thank you so much. One more round of applause, just mainly from me, but from everybody on Twitch as well. Everyone loving, give love to Tiernan, give love to Georgie, and give love to Suze. I've been Juliette Burton. Next week we are going to have another show next week, and we're going to carry over all of we've got Tiernan's votes, Georgie and Suze's and my suggestions of happiness. We're going to carry them over to next week, and we're going to invite our next week's lineup to suggest their keys to happiness. We want you to recommend from now until then on social media. Use the hashtag Happy Lockdown, and at me and Next Up Comedy as well. And we're going to have this whole month of collecting loads of happy data, what's making us happy. Next week's lineup includes Yuriko Kotani, woohoo, she's amazing, Matt Ricardo, who is the best showman of any fringe in the entire world, and he's performed, he's just amazing, he's just performed to thousands and thousands of people. He's going to be doing some cabaret, I think he might be using knives. It's very exciting. I don't know, knives, you know, knives? I have fingers knives. Alistair Beckett King is also joining us as well, which I'm very excited about. So yes, thank you once again to all my amazing, not only guests, friends, I friggin' love you all. Thank you so much for being here, all of everyone in the audience, and we'll see you on the socials. to play us out, Carlos, the amazing Carlos, thank you very much, Carlos, for helping us out with all of this today. To play us out, it's the song that's been making me happy this week. It is it Better in Colour? I think we've gone for, by Lizzo. So thank you so much. This is my happy song. Love you all. Stay kind, stay happy, and let's have another drink.
Black, white, ebony, all sound good to me. Two-tone recipe, got good chemistry. JF Kennedy's, Kiss Hood celebrities, don't matter to me, cause I like everything. You can be my lover, cause love looks better in color. Big dick energy, tastes like collard greens. Big ass patty cake, hey, happy day. Bitch, don't label me, I'm me famously. Nobody's safe, nobody. You and you and you and you can be my lover, cause love looks better in color. Yeah. Love looks better, love looks. You know it do. If I try to tell you, then you try to hurt me. Y'all don't hear me. 6'6" piston, tiptoe kisser, cat hold
At least I don't wee out of my bum.